Hello, hockey, basketball, soccer fans. My name is David. Thought I would start this video at 2:13 on the morning of Wednesday, 20th of November, 2024, North American Eastern Standard Time. So, there were a lot of games that I watched. Among those that began on the relevant Tuesday, Eastern Time. So, watched the basketball game, Raptors 905, lose narrowly to the Washington Wizards G League affiliate, Capital City Go-Go. Watched various other games. Were part of the Panthers Winnipeg Jets one. Watched parts of the also parts of the Flames Isles, Rangers Canucks, Oilers Sens games. A lot of games to watch. I'm going to focus a lot on the Canucks and a very close game, a track meet. The Canucks would end up losing. There's no question that the Canucks ended up losing that game, and on the latest homestand, the Canucks ended up putting up a 2-4-0 win, regulation loss, OT loss, shootout loss record, winning consecutive games at home. Something the Canucks have yet to do since last preseason. And definitely watched some post-game streams. And the last of them, game over Vancouver. No question. If it's for the Canucks, the time to panic is not yet. That said, typically every other week during the regular season, Shad the Hockey Guy, based somewhere in BC's Lower Mainland, puts out a so-called Panic Index video, with the most recent one that, as of this Wednesday morning Eastern Time, he did, having come on the 6th of November Eastern Time. So that was the second, on the Wednesday of the Eastern Time of the second week before this one. So I have a feeling he's going to put out another one at some point on this Wednesday Eastern Time, to be determined when it will be. I have to wonder where he will put the Canucks, given how much they've struggled on this homestand, and that they fell out of a top 3 divisional spot and into a wild card one. So yeah, I mean, certainly game over Vancouver postcast. Co-host mentioned a bunch of upcoming games for the Canucks on this road trip, starting on Saturday Eastern Time against the Sens at the Entire Centre in southeastern Ontario, followed by games on consecutive calendar days Eastern Time against the Brewers at TD Garden and the Pens at PPG Paints Arena, followed by one next week on Friday Eastern Time against the Sabres at what was once HSBC Arena. And then early next month, games on the first respective Sunday and Tuesday Eastern Time, one against the Wings, and then against Minnesota Wild. The Tuesday, and then it's return home for 6. So there has to be concern. I mean, yeah, the Canucks are missing quite a few players. That being said, they've got to start putting together some wins, because their position in the standings is very precarious. And it may be they won't have the luxury of waiting so long before they drop too far out of a playoff spot. So as of games that ended on Tuesday Eastern Time, just going to recap, the Winnipeg Jets are easily in a top 3 divisional spot, 10 points ahead of the Dallas Stars, 32 points over 19 games, so 10 points ahead of the Dallas Stars for first, and 12 points ahead of the Avs. Avs have played 19 regular season games. So yeah, the Jets look pretty secure. They're probably going to see playoff action this season. The only question, I believe, is going to be whether the Jets will finish first, second, or third in the Central Division. So when it comes to the Leafs, played 19 games, 24 points, having put up 15 over the last 10 games. So, are one behind the Panthers, well, which is a huge opportunity. But again, Leafs have a tough test against the Golden Knights on Wednesday Eastern Time, albeit at home. But again, home has been so sweet for the Leafs. But again, you never know which Leafs team's going to show up. It may be the Leafs end up showing up, but pretty much anything goes. There's no question about that. And indeed, the only other game from across and among teams that I follow or that are Canadian, whether NBA, NBA G League, or NHL, aside from the Golden Knights Leafs game, is a game between the Preds, team that I started to follow in October after that slump, and Seattle Kraken. That game will be late at Climate Pledge Arena. To figure out if I want to watch that game or if I'll be just too tired. Well, sorry. So let's just recap his old games. So yeah, so we'll go there. So Leafs are 5 points up on the Bruins for a top 3 Atlantic Division spot. Not the most secure lead in the world, but it could be worse. And I'll get to that in a moment. So we have, there we go here. So we go with the Calgary Flames after a shutout win over the Isles. Are in third place in the Pacific Division with 23 points over 19 games, tied with the LA Kings. But with the Flames having put up 6 regulation wins to the Kings 10, tiebreaker broken there. Golden Knights have 24, having lost their most recent game in regulation. Elsewhere in the Pacific, the Oilers and the Canucks have 22 and 21 respective points over 20 and 18 games. Yes, Canucks have games in hand, but they got to win them. Things are getting tight in the Pacific, and part of it has to do with the Canucks' own making. With just 10 points over the last 10 games via 5-5-0 win, regulation loss, OT loss, shootout loss record. No doubt whatsoever, it's not good. So, what I'm going to do is, as I wrap things up here, I'm going to go to the wild card race, and there's no question that when it comes to the Standards, 4 wins, 5 regulation losses, and 1 OT loss in their last 10. Dropped 8-9-1-0 on the regular season. 18 games, 17 points. Yes, Sens have games in hand compared to some of the other teams above them, but still, Sens have to win them. And they got a tough test coming on the weekend with the Canucks coming to town. And Sens find themselves 2 points out of a playoff spot. And 4 out of third in the Atlantic, excuse me. The Habs have 16 points and are just 1 point behind the Sens. Hard to believe how tight the Eastern Conference wildcard race is. The New York Rangers with 25 points. Remain in the wildcard spot. 25 points over 17 games. It's tight from second in the wildcard race with the Isles all the way down to 10th. Yeah, could be very, a very tight race in the Pacific, in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, it's quite possible that once again the Leafs will be the only Eastern Canadian team to advance. I don't want to be overconfident about the Leafs. Keep in mind that they have been disappointing in the past. So, just going to recap. So, again, just to recap that the Leafs and Preds, among teams that I either cheer for or follow, will be playing games on Wednesday Eastern Time. On Tuesday Eastern Time, there are a lot of games being played. It's also important not to forget that Shan the Hockey Guy, based in BC's lower mainland, likely will be putting out a so-called Panic Index video at some point Wednesday Eastern Time after having put up his most recent one 2 weeks ago on Wednesday Eastern Time. It's going to be interesting to find out where he puts the Canadian teams, the Canadian NHL teams, and that is going to be, again, if I were to put a Canadian team somewhere, I'd put the Canucks in, best case scenario, under concerned. So one rung above panicked. Because there's a reason for concern for the Canucks. Because the defense is not good. In their most recent game, the Canucks didn't even win a third of their face-offs. Something's not right. And that's not so good. There's no question that the Canucks have a lot of work to do. It's a question, though, of how they'll get the work done. So as I wrap this up, so if you like the video, please do consider liking and subscribing for more content having to do with Canada's hockey, basketball, and soccer teams. If you want to, if you like to receive more time notifications of videos that I put out, I do encourage you to click that. I do encourage you to click that notification bell. And on that note, I'm going to say good night. Go Raptors, go. Go Raptors 905, go. And with respect to Canadian national teams for which I cheer, go Canada, go.